Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to the Rock Bottom Show with me, Forrest Rooney, your host. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the multiple times I went to the mental hospital. Okay? So, we're going to start. Now, I usually write these out, but I'm just going to go off the top of my head for this episode. And we're going to start with the first time I went. I was about 12 years old, and I went to Snowden in Fredericksburg mental hospital for underage kids, teens. And my reason for going, I ran away from home. This was like one of the many times I ran away from home. First of the many times to come. And I took 2 Lexapro instead of 1. So they labeled that an overdose. I overdosed on Lexapro. And they sent me to a mental hospital to get some help. Which I didn't really need help. I just needed, at the time, my father to listen to me. That my stepmother hated me and let me know it every day. Anyways, so when I get there, we had our orientation, which is standard. They ask you all the questions. And these were different for when I was a kid because they asked me if I was sexually active at 12. And I lied because I wanted to sound cool. Even to the old ass ugly nurse who was a bitch to me. I just remembered a lot of stuff from that stay. Good, because this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, you get in there. They ask you if you're sexually active. I said yes, so I got a room by myself at first, and then I got a roommate who was a boy. I should have said no because I might have been able to get in a room with a chick and get some action. But I wasn't that clever at that age, and I just was like, in front of my dad, I'll just say yes because that's what I thought I should have said at the time. But going back, yeah, blah blah blah, I should have said no, hell no. What is sex? Are you kidding me? And then there's a chick who came in there who told us she liked to get railed by, gangbanged by lots of black dudes. And there was a white kid who acted really black, and his name was Turbo. He was a blood. He claimed he had got jumped into the gang. He'd been in hundreds of fights. This kid was like a straight thug. And go figure, the chick who liked to get railed by gangbang black guys, she was trying to fuck him. And I even went to her room once, and they said, get out of her room, you're not allowed to go in other patients' rooms. And what else do I remember from that stay? Oh yeah, this big tall dude his name was Austin came in one night. He broke a computer. He broke one of the handles on a door, and they had like 5 men come in with riot gear and shields and trap him, and they gave him a shot to put his ass out because he was just going fucking nuts. And so the whole next day in group, he was like just nodding out, completely out of it. He was like, and he was an asshole. Kept calling me shrimp dick, which really bothered me, especially at that age. And me and this other kid across from me, we were still awake when the commotion was happening, and we were rubbing our toothbrushes against the cement to make shanks with them because we didn't trust this crazy fucking new kid who was a lot older than us and acting psychotic. And luckily we didn't get in trouble because we had a nurse who found out that we made shanks and told us if we gave them to her, she wasn't telling us. So, like good boys we were, we gave them right to her. And I remember being told to do homework at group. And I used to think about jumping the fence at recess, but I was never allowed out because I wasn't good enough in there. at this point, I was kind of fed up with just being told what to do. Because as a kid, I had all these crazy rules like uh, come upstairs to put the toilet seat down, talked at like a piece of shit, sit at the table until 10, 11 p.m. until I eat every scrap of food for dinner. If I burped or something, or uh, farted or something, time out for like 20 minutes at the table. So many damn timeouts. At age like 12, 13, shit that makes you feel like you have no power, like you're being treated like a piece of shit. And eventually you start acting like one. It's your only way to fight back, right? And that's what I did, but we're not talking about my whole life story. We're talking about the mental health stage. So, yeah, there's this other kid there who was kind of on the slow side. I remember him, he would put his pills under his tongue, and then he'd take them out and put them in his pocket. And he probably needed them because this kid was kind of nuts. And he was a little on the slow side. But yeah, there's not really much to say other than about that stay, other than when they tried to get me to do homework. I said, why am I doing homework? This isn't for school. This isn't going to count for shit. I don't have to do shit. And they put me in the little room, the little box room, for like an hour. And I just fucking like bounced off the walls, was acting a fool, acting crazy. And I'll never forget the man who used to wake us up every morning. He'd tap his key and say, Mr. Forrest, your breakfast is getting cold. This old black guy, I forget his name, which sucks because I wish I could remember it, but he was cool. He was the only cool person there. The other lady, old nurse, old lady who's like a fucking witch, she threatened to put me to sleep too if I didn't do my homework. I was like, you're fucking nuts if you're gonna put me to sleep for something like that. And yeah, I fought with her a lot and planned my escape. I was gonna jump over the fence when they had recess, but I was never allowed outside, like I said. And then I had this plan. My mom and me had this plan that she was gonna come pick me up after my, I think it was 7 or 9 day stay there. That's usually how long my stays go. And I was heartbroken when I got out. I know my last day, she wasn't there. My dad came to pick me up, and that wasn't the plan. And we had planned everything out that my mom was going to be there to get me, and she didn't come. And they said she wasn't coming. I couldn't call her, nothing. And I really got in the car with my dad, and he said, you're going to be grounded probably till you're 18. And I was like, can you just take me back there then? Because I really like it there better than home. And he's like, no. That's ridiculous. You're coming home to be miserable. So fast forward to stay 2. I think this one happened in Maryland. Let me give some context around stay number 2. This is an adult mental hospital, so a lot more funny characters in there, and I'll get to that. So what happened was I was staying with my mother. I had recently relapsed on dope, and I was working nights at Walmart with a broken spine. And I was just in agony, misery, pain, so much pain. The only way I was getting through it was with the dope at night, because I was on the night shift. I mean, there were nights where I would fall in the dairy section by myself, just laying on my back for like 10 minutes. Because, I'd get these sharp pains and my legs would just go out. And, anyway, one night, or one day, I told my mom that I wanted to kill myself. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I wanted to go to the hospital. And she took me and she left me there. Took my phone and left me there before I was even checked in. And they said they didn't have any beds for me, so when I went to leave, I tried to call her, no answer. So I walked about 8 miles, and on my way, during like after the first mile, I was still in Westminster town, and I walked by this one kid and asked if I could use his phone to try to call my mom again. And he said yes. I tried, left her messages, nothing, no answer. Because I had told her I had relapsed on the way to the hospital. I came clean, was honest with her. And even though we were just doing cocaine and getting drunk every night, literally like the night before, she decided that heroin was terrible and she was kicking me out. And I was a piece of shit son for doing that in her house, under her roof. Fucking hypocrite, right? Yeah, we'll get there. So yeah, I walked 8 miles, and then that same kid whose phone I used drives by me with a chick, and he says, "Hey man, you need a ride?" And I'm like, "Holy shit, you're that guy from earlier, like hours ago." I was like, "Yeah, I need a ride. My back's fucking killing me. Can barely go on." And I still had like 5 miles to go, walking from Westminster to Hampstead. Ridiculous. And so I get home. I'm locked out. My mom's not home. So I go to the neighbors, hang out with them, tell them what's going on. And they think I'm a piece of shit too, because I did dope, even though they're fucking crackheads who do coke and crack. They look down at everyone who... It's so stupid, man. So many crack and coke heads, they spit at people who use heroin. They're like, dirty fucks. How could you do something like that? While they're fucking smoking away on their pipe, drinking away, fucking smoking cigarettes away, fucking pieces of shit. Anyway, so what happens was, my mom, she got home, it was raining, but we had a porch, so I'm sitting there with the cat. He's keeping me warm on my back, Mufasa. And then she says to me, "You can stay the night tonight, but tomorrow you gotta be out. I'm kicking you out. You're done here. I'm done helping you. You're a piece of shit junkie." And even though she had been getting drunk every night, doing coke a lot of nights, I'd get home from a meeting and smell crack in the bathroom. And her and her friends would steal my Ritalin to try to come down. And she used to share her Vicodin with me, but it's different. I never stole them from her. Might be because I could never find them. But anyway. Yeah, just fucking shit that really pissed me off, because I was trying to stay clean at the time. And all this drug use around me was making that difficult. And I worked nights, so I'd get home. Oh yeah, and this is what led to everything. My mom asked me one night to go to my room, and because she had a fling coming over. Her husband was off in the military, and she had been fucking many dudes while he was away. I say many, it was like one or two that I know of, but I'm sure it was more than that. She had this boyfriend named Ryan, this country fuck who crashed his truck and like killed some people and got away with it. Dude, there was a real piece of shit. And they split up. I had to fucking, so awkward, tell him to leave and shit and stand up for my mom, and it was awkward. So yeah, then she met this kid at a bar, and I'm 21 when all this is going on. This kid's 21. So I get home. Or actually, this happened. She had him over, and she's like, "Go in your room, because he's weird about, he doesn't want to meet you. He's weird about whatever. He's an old fling." She's wasted, just lying right to my face. So anyways, I go to my room, put on a movie. We're in a trailer. I'm the furthest room from hers, and I can hear very clearly her fucking moaning and them having sex, and she's basically screaming. So it was like impossible to block it out. So I had to leave. I was this close to going in there and just beating the fuck out of whoever it was. But I thought better of it and I just left. And so I'm sitting at the creek for like hours and hours. I text her. I'm like, "You're so loud. I had to leave. Is he gone yet?" She said, "No, he can't leave yet. He's drunk still." So she pretty much made me choose between hearing her get fucked for who knows how long, or go sit in the fucking rainy creek woods and wait it out till I could come back in the house without having to hear my mom get railed by a kid who was my age. I had no idea at the time he was the same age as me until the next day I got off work and I wanted to just come home, drink some beer, smoke a bowl, and go to sleep because I had just worked all night, overnight. And I walk in, I see the same car as the guy who fucked her that night is outside. So I put two and two together. He's there, 21-year-old named Cameron, and there was this guy named Josh who had coke. They're all doing coke. My mom comes out. "Just do some coke with us, Forrest. Don't be an asshole." I'm like, "Mom, I'm fucking tired. I just worked all night. My back's killing me. I just want to sleep. That's all I want." And she's like, "Well, we're still up partying, so just might as well do some coke with us." This is coming from the lady who kicked me out for doing heroin. So don't forget that. Fucking like coke's any better. It's such bullshit. But anyways, it's all in the past. It doesn't matter now, but it's funny for the story because she fucked this fucking kid. She's like 45 or some shit like that. Fucking a 21-year-old. And her husband, her gay husband, who was off in the military, he was like 26, something like that, like 20 years younger than her, 10 years younger than her, something like that. So yeah, so back to, like, this happened like days after, like a day or two after all that happened was when I got kicked out and shit. And I wasn't suicidal because of that. I was suicidal because I was out of dope and I was withdrawing and I was in so much pain and I felt like shit. So then being kicked out, this is when I cut myself. I didn't want to be homeless again, and I didn't want to have to start from scratch and work my way up because my back hurt so bad. I needed surgery at the time, but I just didn't know it yet. So excuse me, sorry. So yeah, where was I? So I wake up that next morning knowing that I'm about to be homeless. I just grabbed my knife. I put it right here and I slashed super hard. And I surprised myself even because the skin ripped wide open. The blood just started gushing out all over the place. And I was like, this is good. This is what I needed to do. I did it impulsively, didn't really think about it. I was just like, I'm not trying to start from scratch again with this fucked up back and withdrawing. I have no money, but I needed dope to feel good. It's just misery. If you've ever been a heroin addict, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is miserable. So I wrapped my arm up in something, put on a hoodie, and I checked with my mom. I was like, "Hey, Mom." I was like, "I'm leaving now. Just want to tell you I love you and I'm sorry." Even though I should have been like, "You're a fucking whore, bitch. Fuck you." And she's like, "Okay, get out of here." Didn't want to talk. She's probably hungover as fuck. Which was like every day. And so I left. It's raining. And I saw my sister get on the bus. And it really broke my heart because I didn't know if I'd ever see her again. I told her I loved her. And I started walking in the rain as I was leaking blood down my fingertips. I walked about 2 miles to a Walmart. I went in the bathroom. Kind of cleaned up my arm a little bit. blood everywhere. And I called my dad earlier to tell him I shouldn't have did that. That's how I know I wasn't really suicidal, because if I was, I wouldn't have called my dad and told him. But I told him, and he called the police in Hampstead, and they rushed to the Walmart. I was outside smoking a Black and Mild, and I had a 40 ounce. I didn't have the 40 ounce yet, but I was going to buy a 40 ounce and just walk into the woods and slash myself deeper and more times and speed up the bleed out process, because the cut was only like 10 stitches, so it was pretty big, open, steady leaking, but I don't think it would have killed me anytime soon. So yeah, I see them rush in. They run into the Walmart, and I'm just standing out there considering, should I go up to them, try to get some help, or should I just walk away and go on with my plan and kill myself? So I decided to walk up to them. I said, hey, you're probably looking for me. And they said, show us your arm. And I opened my hoodie and showed them. And they got me in the ambulance. And I told them I had been to the hospital trying to get help the day before. And they told me they didn't have any beds full. And the cop said, well, when you come in with us, they're going to make room for you. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got checked in, got naked, the usual, searched and whatnot, filled out my menus. Then I meet. Here's the fun part. Sorry, I'm not trying to be depressive. It's supposed to be a fun comedy podcast. I got to work on the fun comedy part. So I get in there, and there's this guy, Steve. He's got a bald head with a mullet that goes down halfway to his ass. And he stops everywhere when he walks. And he sits by the phone. Say the microphone is the phone on the ringer. He doesn't even have it out. He sits there by the phone, leaning on the wall, talking to the phone while it's on the ringer. He's like, craziest man there. But he was fun to watch. At breakfast, he'd break us silence with a fart. And he had some pretty choice insults. I tried to take a peanut butter because he had so many peanut butters on his tray. I was like, can I have one of your peanut butter, Steve? And he said, get your hands off my peanut butter, you slut. And I laughed so hard after. I felt kind of weird. I'd never been called a slut before in my life. It was fucking funny. The guy's nuts. Absolutely nuts. And he came out one morning. I'd always wake up to him stomping down the hallway. That's how I knew it was time to get up for breakfast. And he comes in there, and he's like, nurse, there's shit all in my bed. There's shit everywhere in my bed. There's so much shit in my bed. Shit in my bed, nurse. Like, trying to make him go clean it up, like, pronto. He was psychotic. And then one time the nurse trying to give him his medicine, and she spilled a little bit of the water on him, and he's like, you spilled that on me. You go get a towel, you fucking slut. Dude was just super disrespectful. Hilarious though. Like, they could make a TV show about people like him. And then there was another guy in there named Jeffrey Weber. And it was so funny. I had a crush on Nurse Charlotte. She was there doing group one morning. And Jeff Weber was sitting there, right? She's talking. And all you hear is, after she's done, dude is dead sleeping. Like that. Like a second after he said, yeah, Nurse Charlotte, yes, that's correct. Like, she said something else, and then he's just out like that. He was on so many fucking meds. But the funny part is, he's like, hey, what's up, man? I like your tattoos, man. I like your tattoos, man. It's cool art, man. Cool ink. hey man, you like Lamb of God? I was like, no, not really, but my dad's a big fan of them. He likes heavy metal. He's like, cool, man, that's cool. He's like, when we get out of here, man, find me at Journeys, man. I stay in the mall by Journeys, man. You can find me there. You want to get a place together? I was like, I think I'm good, brother. Even though my whole time there, I was planning on getting out, grabbing my last check from Walmart, and getting $200 worth of dope and blasting it up my arm at one time and doing the job right. Because while I was there, they tried to call my dad to get a plan for me. And my dad was like, I can't help him. Maybe you should start looking for shelters for us. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm in too much pain. I'm just going to kill myself. And the lady, the nurse in there was like crying, like trying to implore my dad to help me. But he was just like, nah, I can't do it. He can't do it. And so, which I don't blame him. I didn't expect anything more. He's helped me over the years, don't get it wrong, from a distance, but still, he's helped me a lot. So I love my dad for that, and I forgive him for failing to see the actual trauma I was being put through every day. It's okay. Usually he wasn't there, he's always at work, so can't blame the guy for just believing everything his wife said and thinking me a piece of shit. You know? He had 3 other kids. Why would he just drop everything for the one kid who he thought to be an asshole piece of shit? But you know, I wasn't at first. I tried multiple times. But it's eventually you get treated like shit for long enough, you start acting like shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting off track here. So yeah, there's a couple other funny characters in there. But yeah, with Jeffrey Weber, one day, this rich guy named Jeffrey D, I think it was Dinkins or something, he was going through a divorce with his wife, and he was super depressed and drinking. And this was his first time at a mental hospital, you could tell. And I probably entertained him a lot because I talked so much. I made everybody laugh in there. And but yeah, we had visitors one time. 2 guys came, or a woman and a guy came to visit Jeff, the rich guy, rich black dude. And Jeffrey Weber said, hey brother, to this black dude with dreads who came in. He's like, hey man, look me up, man. Look me up. I'm Jeffrey D, brother. Check me out. I'm Jeffrey D. Jeffrey D. Yeah, man. And Jeffrey D was like, I'm Jeffrey D. He's Jeffrey Weber. And we laughed so fucking hard. Dude didn't even know his own last name. God. You see real crazy people in there if you're just having a bad spell like me. I mean, I've got mental issues, but I'm far from insane. But there's some insane people that go there. I just go there for suicide attempts and suicidal thoughts. And I'll get to my 3rd stay, which was my last stay, which was like 6 years ago. But anyways, there's a couple more fun facts from that stay in Maryland. My mom never came to visit me because she probably was scared they'd lock her up too because she's insane. And there's this other guy there who would punch the walls and fuck his hands up. And we played chess one time, and I beat him like every time. And the nurses would come up and ask, oh, who won the game? And he'd be like, I did. And I was just like, yeah, he won. I didn't give a shit. Dude was fucking nuts. So if he wanted to say he won, you can take that, brother. And I was like, yeah, I'm done playing with you though, because fucking dude is nuts. Kind of guy who would just sit there quiet and then just freak out. Like go to his room and start punching, fucking breaking shit. Like I said, real crazy people. And who else? Oh yeah, my roommate. I made a good friend with this guy named Vince, who had a loaded gun and swallowed a bunch of sleeping pills, all because of his fucking ugly girlfriend left him. That's the thing that I'm still kind of hurt over my ex from 8 years ago, but I'm not gonna kill myself anymore over that, you know. Who cares, really? But yeah, he was so hurt about this ugly bitch. Like, it would have been such a tragedy if he really took his life for a chick who looked like that. But yeah, we got real close, real tight. We were laughing our asses off, talking about movies we liked and stuff like that. And he had another roommate. He had a roommate named Steve, not to be confused with the old crazy guy Steve. This guy was a short, stocky guy who was always sweating. And he told me late at night he would just stand over him, looking at him. This guy might have been possessed because in group one time, he said he's on his computer one day, and he had these voices in his head that were telling him to go lay out in the street at night. And yeah, this kid was really troubled. His parents looked like some Mormons who were like, they looked like super dorky, nerdy folks. He probably went through some crazy shit at home that he couldn't talk about because the kid had some fucked up shit going on with him. But we were always nice to him. And then a Spanish kid came in, and he said, I said, "What's up? Why are you here?" He said, "Voices en la cabeza." I was like, "Voices in your head?" Because I knew that word. He said, "Yeah, see." I was like, holy shit. His mom had a fucking priest come in to like put holy water on his forehead and shit. So yeah, there's tons of characters. And then there was this lady in there, I forget her name, Susan or something like that. And she was just completely off her rocker. And there's another guy, old guy in there, who warned me of the back surgery. He said, "Don't get back surgery, you'll just be in pain for your whole life." And I probably should listen. Even though I couldn't walk, ever since I got that surgery, I've just had so much pain and can't piss. And I got this goddamn urodynamic study scheduled now for October 11th. And I'm trying to get brave by then because they're going to have me sit on this chair, shove multiple catheters up my penis and anus, and then pump sterile water into my bladder and ask me to try to pee it out through the catheter while I'm all hooked up to a computer. Sounds fun, right? Yeah, it's terrifying. I'm dreading it every day. They wanted to schedule in September, but I needed more time than that. And I said October. And it's been miserable being on the toilet for 6+ hours a day and waking up every 2-3 hours, sometimes 1 hour. Can't get more than 3 hours of sleep at a time, like 5 hours a night sometimes. Less than that most of the time. Anyway, on to the story. We're getting long here. I know you guys are probably getting bored, so let's get into the last but not least mental health stay. But before I get there, let me wrap it up with my savior who came through for me and who's still giving me shelter and much, much more. My Uncle Dan. He called when I was expecting to kill myself after that hospital stay. He said my dad told him what happened, and that's devastating, or the family would be devastated if I did something like that, and I was going to come live with him and work with him. And I did work with him, even though I told him probably 100 times that I wanted to wait until I got my back fixed, because every job I got I lost after 4 or 5 months because I just couldn't cut it anymore from the pain. And it happened again, and it sucks because we had a blast together. Work was super fun. We left our asses off all day, and we got shit done too. But a lot of times I was on my back in agony, just laying there waiting for him to finish up the indoor, because I would do the outdoor mostly. And yeah, it just got to a point where I was in tears one day, and finally went to the doctor, and they said, "Yeah, you need back surgery." Probably needed it for a long time now. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. When I first had this pain at age 18, they told me my back was fine. And then I did tree work, hardwood floors, busted my ass, lifted thousands of pounds a day for fucking years. And then the pain just got worse and worse and worse and never got better. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I'll touch on the third mental health hospital stay in the next one, in the beginning of the next Rock Bottom show. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this show, like and subscribe, and leave comments if you want to see more. I'm going to try to work on making them more uplifting and funny, even though it's Rock Bottom is dark shit. It's all about dark times, but the whole point is to show the light and the funny. And I'll end it with this memory of Steve. This girl was being transferred, and Steve came up and he was like, "Doctor, I'll go instead," because she didn't want to leave. She had a crush on me and we had this plan to do dope together when we got out. And Steve was like stomping up to the cops. He was like, let me go. And when my Uncle Dan called, Steve, who was always by the phone talking to it while it's on the ringer, answered, and he said, hello. And my uncle was like, yeah, is Forrest there? And he's like, who's this? May I ask who's calling? And my uncle was like, this is Dan. He's like, Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan. Hello, Dr. Dan. And I was like, yeah, Steve, that's for me, bud. Can I have the phone? And he was like, stopped off. Probably went to go fart on some nurse or shit his pants. Always had his ass crack out, too. Yeah, a lot more stories to tell from that second stay. I'm going to wrap it up, though, because we're almost at 40 minutes. I know y'all are probably bored, and probably none of you have watched this long, so. Oh, well. Have a blessed day. See you next time.